What is up, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world? I am, of course, Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. It's another edition of Fan Chats Live here on the channel. These are very casual things where we just do a little Q&A. I'm talking to you, you're talking to me. Now, what makes this one different, besides the fact that we were running this about 10 minutes ago and my stupid computer crashed? I hate technology. But what makes this a little different than normal fan chats here is we have no actual live chat going. This is all to prevent spoilers for Avengers Endgame, the big leak that was out there. Man, this thing is still very much alive. It's out there causing a lot of problems for different people. The way we decided to combat that here is no chat today. There's no chat. Instead, we are taking your questions from social media. Hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, hit us in the DMs, or just comment, hashtag us, tag us, hashtag FanChatsLive, whatever you got to do to get your questions in. We're going to be going over a bunch of them today because yesterday's stream was cut short because of technical difficulties. We struggled with a little bit of that already today, but this one should be good. This stream should be good. I've changed PCs. I don't know what's going on with my PC. It's like you think when you go and you get a PC that is dedicated for streaming, you think that you would be okay, right? You think, okay, well, I just have this for streaming. It's literally just for streaming. And it's sitting over there. And then, of course, it has problems. So, I mean, that's just the way that things go. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But we've got it handled, okay? So we're going to be getting into Q&A in just a second here. Give it a second for everybody to get back into the stream that can get back into the stream. And that's got time to hang out with us and do a little chatting about the ye old Avengers Endgame. We're 7 days away, guys. 7 days away, and we've taken drastic measures. Now, I did actually put chat, or rather comments, back on the video this morning. It really hurt us in the algorithm not having the video comments, but, you know, that was something that we decided to do because we really did not want spoilers. We don't want anything spoiled for anybody, so that's kind of where we were at with that. Give me 1 second here. I want to adjust a level. I feel like I'm losing the top end of my audio a little bit there. Make a slight adjustment here. And hopefully that's a little bit better. It might be a little less loud, but I think it'll be more clear for everybody. So let me know how that sounds. I guess you can't let me know in chat. I'm just going to have to pick up some info from the old Twitters. So, are you guys ready? You guys ready to get into some of this stuff? Let's start with Twitter today. I know yesterday we started with the gram. So, here we go. Get into some of this stuff here. Got a DM my roommate in the video, which ended up being the leaked footage. Didn't watch any of it, but saw the split. Okay. This one's kind of funny. This comes from Ryder J. Smith on Twitter. Hey, Josh. First, I wanted to say I really appreciate all the precautions so that Endgame isn't spoiled. Thank you very much. It's been tough over here. I got to be honest with you. But thank you so much for the support. I heard somewhere that the spider thing on the back is an energy redistributor. Okay, so we actually talked about this a little bit yesterday, but there's this funny anecdote that he added yesterday where he said, I actually had deleted my Twitter, but got it to DM you all. My roommate had sent me a video, which ended up being the leaked footage. I didn't watch any of it, but saw the first split second before I could turn it off. Needless to say, he's locked out right now and will be sleeping outside until next Thursday after I go see it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a bad roommate, and yeah, he deserves to be sleeping outside for that. That's pretty bad. But thank you, Ryder. And as far as the energy propulsion thing, if you missed the chat yesterday, we talked about this a little bit. It really does look like in one of the newest TV spots that on the back of Iron Man, there's this thing that is blasting like lightning, right? And it really looks as though Thor is blasting in lightning into that repulsor, just like what happened in the first Avengers, where he tries to hit him and then it gets charged up to like 300% or whatever. Something like that, we believe, is going to be happening as well in Endgame, which is pretty stinking cool, if you ask me. So let's get into this next one here. Do you think that Captain Marvel is coming in from Blair Jones? Do you think that Captain Marvel may die or be dusted in the first act of the movie, and that's how they lose early on? If they undo the snap by going back to the Battle of Wakanda, her death would be undone also. And then it goes on to talk about the theory that Rocket was created by Thanos. Okay, so let's go into a couple of these. This is kind of cool stuff. So, do I think that Captain Marvel will die or be dusted in the first act of the movie? This one's really tough. So, one of the things that Al Schuler and I have been talking about is like, well, she's really powerful, and so if they go and fight Thanos early on in the film, and she has all of her power, and Thanos is weakened because of the gauntlet, then you could see where maybe she'd be able to mess him up. You know what I mean? Maybe she'd be able to really do some damage to him. But I really don't think that's going to be the way that they go in the film. I just have this feeling that Thanos is going to remain just the baddest of the bad, and what's going to end up happening is he is going to defeat them. So does he kill her in the beginning of the film? Maybe. I could see that. It would be super tragic and people would freak out, but I don't know. I think either way, we made the video that Thanos would die at the very beginning of the film. It's kind of speculative. It's just for fun or whatever. Um, that's probably not going to happen. Thanos is probably going to beat them. Now, does he kill them? I don't really know. I don't really think so. I don't think he has necessarily a reason to kill them. Unless Captain Marvel's like really coming at him hard, being sort of ridiculous, then I could see maybe where she is killed because of her attitude or insolence or something like that. And I think that would be awesome, frankly. I think it would be super cool. She gets whacked and then she comes back. That would be interesting. The one thing, though, about that would suck is all of the characters need to learn the lessons and have all of the memories of everything that happens in Infinity War and Endgame in order for us to care and for us to come out of this on the other side of it with these characters and have it all be very impactful still. They have to have memories of what happened. They have to remember everything. They have to feel the loss. They have to remember the terror, everything. And so the same goes for Captain Marvel. She's not really going to evolve as a character if they kill her early on in the film and then they just bring her back through the time travel. Then she would not have had any of the experiences or any, bonding with the original Avengers. So I don't really think that's the way that they're going to go. But I do appreciate it. Now, as far as Blair Jones, what he says about Rocket being created by Thanos, I have heard people talk about this. It kind of seems like a cool idea. I don't know if I buy it exactly, but it certainly seems like a cool idea. And if it is Thanos, man, wouldn't that open up some crazy possibilities? And as you said in your message to me, stuff to explore in later Guardians films or other movies down the line. But thank you, Blair Jones. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Kevin Brown, big supporter, always supporting the channel, coming in with another question here. If there is to be something about Endgame that disappoints fans, what might it be to you? What would leave you disappointed? For me, it's if they overdo it with comedy and serious moments. How pissed would you be in the heat of the battle, Cap says Avengers, and another character like Rocket cuts him off and screams, "Assemble," to be funny? Yeah, I mean, certainly that's a fear, right? Certainly Marvel humor is great, but Marvel humor also has tarnished movies for me. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is probably the best example. I felt like it was just too much shotgun humor, just not well timed, took me out of the film a lot. So the humor is a concern. I guess I sort of just explained it, but one of the things that would really upset me is if they do a reset on this thing where the characters do not have memories of what happened. That would be a big bummer. And as I've sort of just explained, they need to have that in order to move on. They need to learn those lessons. You know what I mean? They need to know what was going down. It's just a part of their character development. So I would be pretty upset if that did not happen. So that would be one that would upset me. I would say, too, as strange as it seems, we're all pretty sure that Cap's going to die. But I would be upset if nobody died. If nobody actually dies and they just undo everything and get away with it, again, lack of stakes. I'm not really into that. That's not something I would want to see. So those are like 3 answers for you there, Kevin Brown. But I appreciate all the support that you give the channel. Thank you so much, man. Let's see here. Matthew is talking some Star Wars here. Let me see what we got in here. Just make sure that we can fit this in here. Let's see here. Okay. Do you think Lucasfilm Disney will/should make the Star Wars Episode 10 after the hiatus, the story that continues the main Skywalker line? And I see you typing right now, Matthew. I wonder if you're watching. That's cool. Okay, so let's talk about this because I love me some Star Wars, and actually, I'm working on a ton of Star Wars videos right now too. Because after Celebration and that Episode 9 trailer, man, pretty hype. A lot of stuff to talk about. Should they make Episode 10? I think so, but I would also not be mad if they made like a new saga, a new type of saga, and it still sort of took place with whatever's going on in the current story in the universe. So basically, after whatever happens in Episode 9, yeah, I would like to see the continuation of that time period. I really want to know what happens in that time period. Now we're taking a step back. All signs point to us doing Old Republic for a while, which I think is brilliant. 5 to 8 years of Old Republic, perfect. We're gonna get so much cool stuff. I think it'll elevate things. I think the fan base will be just rabid for that stuff. It's gonna be very good for the brand. And then after that, yeah, come back to it. Come back to it. I believe that, I have my own theories about what could happen in Episode 9. But yes, I do think they should continue the story, but perhaps not with Episode 10. Perhaps with a new Episode 1, a new Episode 4, or something like that. So, thank you, Matthew, for the question. And look forward. And I see you on there. You said you were watching right now. It's pretty cool. Look forward to more Star Wars content coming very soon. Okay. Let us see here. Matthew Zarati. Okay, it's an interesting thought right here. Says, remember that there's 2 more chairs on the Benatar located under the pilot chairs. Drax and Gamora were sitting in them in Infinity War. So there's 2 more characters going to fight Thanos in the beginning. That's actually a very interesting point. I don't think that's something that a lot of people are talking about or picking up on, but yeah, that's a good point, man. Who would the other 2 be to you? Could it be Tony? Could they give him some kind of a rest and then he's good to go? Could be. Could it be Bruce Banner? You know what I mean? Could it be him maybe thinking about hulking out? You know what I mean? Or just coming there anyways, with maybe the Hulkbusters in the basement of the ship or something like that. You know what I mean? They fix it up. Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Matthew. I'm really excited to see how that actually all ends up going, right? I mean, look, and like I said, I haven't seen the leaked video. I really don't know where we're going for. Thor, good point, as I saw you just message me. Yeah, Thor could be one of them. I really just didn't. I'm having trouble believing that they're actually going to go fight Thanos early on in the movie. Now, I don't know because I haven't seen the leaks, and all of the trailers really do hint at that. But I just don't see it personally. However, totally willing to be shocked and blown away by what they actually do that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking is I tend to believe that they actually are not going to go fight Thanos early on in the movie. They're going into space for a different reason. But who knows? They could it could be for what we think it is. But thank you very much, Matthew, for sending in that question. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Quaitodian89. Quaitodian? Let's see here. Hey, I sent a question yesterday. It basically said, as a Game of Thrones fan, I'm more adapted to popular characters dying off rather than riding off into the sunset. I really like the idea for Tony Stark. I think retiring is kind of sloppy writing. Either kill him or make him fight. What do you think? Also, will that orangey soul stone place that Thanos and little Gamora where and have more explanations in Endgame? Like, what is it? I really don't understand that part of the movie. Okay. So, yeah, I hope that will be explored more. I believe the Russo brothers did say that, yes, that is going to be explored more, that the soul world is going to play a factor in the next film, and there's going to be more of an explanation for that. Now, they might not have said the explanation part, but I think naturally it will make more sense. What that is a place where all souls go when they die. And, obviously there's a lot of, like, semantic questions about that, but that's basically what it is. And as far as the sloppy writing of retiring, I really don't know. I think that what's going to happen, like for me, what would make sense is just from a writing perspective, is that if Tony is so shaken by the events and at the end of the day, Cap makes this huge sacrifice, he feels like he can't necessarily go on. And remember, one of the big themes of Tony and the whole idea here is like the reason he created the Iron Legion, the reason he created Ultron is because he wanted an end game for himself. He didn't want to be doing this his whole life, and he knew that he could not. And so he wanted to build a shield of armor around the world, right? And so perhaps there's a way for him to do that and just leave and not be involved anymore. And I know that that's kind of what Pepper wants too, right? Pepper wants him to not be doing this anymore, to just be, a husband and just a father, perhaps. And I think that's sort of the way that it'll go. And that's okay with me. That would not be bad writing. But on the other side of that coin, if he dies, I'm not super upset with that either. I think that makes sense. I think that's good writing as well, especially if he sacrifices himself. So thank you very much for that question. Appreciate it very much. And let's see here. We got a bunch of requests in here. All right, let's do a couple more from Twitter. Then we'll jump over to Instagram. Then we'll jump back to Twitter. So if I haven't gotten to your question yet, I apologize, but we will be working on it here. Let's see here. Huge news of the league. And I have screenshot link of the actress super late. Please message me. Okay, really interesting here by Charles. Okay, this is very, very interesting. I'm going to allow this message in here. Okay, this has come from Guitar Guy Yo, and I believe his name is Charles. And there's so many things popping up right now, I can't read it. But so here's what he says. Actually, very interesting here. Says that there's huge news about the leaks, and they could have been totally fake. I have a screenshot and a link to an actress who said it herself. This is interesting. That was coming into us super late last night. Who claims to be an actress from the Dora Milaje, says that the spoilers are fake. If you go to her page, she has also posted where she posts where the description alludes to the leaks being fake and a publicity stunt. It's hard to tell because her account isn't verified, but she's not a main actress. She plays more of a background. I don't know, man. Just hit me up. Okay, so interesting here. I would love for this to be fake. And one of the things I even said yesterday, and I think I said this on the show Tuesday, which Tuesday was one of those shows that we did not have comments enabled. But I believe I said this on the show Tuesday. It could be fake. And what I would really like, and I'm hoping, and I might even do this as a big video, I'm hoping that what's going on is that the Russo brothers are being so careful and so clever, and they understand the internet culture and Reddit and 4chan. They understand it so well that they have essentially created a fake narrative that has perhaps been out there this whole time. This fake idea of what's going on. So they're not only faking this out in the trailers, but they themselves have started the leaks on Reddit. They themselves have figured out a way to infiltrate internet culture and make us think all of these things, and then the rug is going to be pulled out from under us. If they pull that off, if they actually do that, which I doubt they did, like I very much doubt that that's what's going on. But if that is what they did, then this will be the greatest like bamboozling in the history of entertainment. This would be an amazing accomplishment. And what I really hope is that that is what's going on, that this is all fake. It is crafted by them. Whatever happened on Monday night and Tuesday, that video, which has all the spoilers in there, completely fake, and that we have no idea. I want to go into Endgame, and I want to have to make an apology video after I get out and say, hey, I was wrong. I was fooled, all these things. That's what I would want. And if that is indeed the case, I'm super excited about it. And so this is coming from Charles. Let me know, guys, on social media. Could you please hit me up? Let me know. Have you heard this too? Have you heard that the leaks are possibly fake? Very, very cool stuff coming to us on Twitter. All right, let's go next to Philip Edwards. What do you think Doctor Strange possibly saw, or what his plans were in Infinity War when he gives gives Thanos the Time Stone? It's really weird. Like, he watches Thanos intently, like he doesn't want him to notice something, and it's bothering me ever since I watched Infinity War the other day. Yeah, Philip Edwards, this is one of the greatest mysteries of Infinity War, one of the things that we're dying to find out in Endgame. What the heck did Doctor Strange do to that time stone, if anything? My personal theory is that it's outside of a time loop. So basically from the way, way future, Strange goes way into the future, grabs the stone from the future, brings it back into the past, and gives it to Thanos. And then what happens is, as the present catches up to that future that he took the stone from, the stone goes back into the future and removes itself from the gauntlet. That would be really cool. There's also a lot of people that think that it could be cursed, that he cursed the time stone, and that what happened at the end with the snap is actually a part of the curse that Doctor Strange put on the stone. This is sort of hinted at with the interaction that he has with Ebony Maw, in which Ebony Maw tries to take the Eye of Agamotto, and he says he has a simple spell on there, but it's quite unbreakable. Maw says, well, then I'll just kill you and take it off your dead body. And he said, have you ever tried to break a dead man's spell? That's pretty tough. And so perhaps because Strange knew he was going to die, he put a spell on there knowing he was going to die to make the spell really, really hard to remove. So there's a lot of mystery there. This is one of the great mysteries of Infinity War, something we're all looking forward to seeing take place in the next film. So thank you, Philip Edwards, for the question. All right, we'll do like 3 more on Insta and then or Twitter, and then I'm going over to Instagram. Okay, let's see here. Okay, here's somebody trying to spoil stuff for us. No thanks. Let's see here. And there's one to talk to Josh about it. It makes sense story-wise. One thing, Captain America, it looks a lot thinner when Scarlett Johansson red hair. At the same time, when her hair is red, if you look closely, she got somewhat fatter. Though all the career movies, she was able to maintain a figure, except this movie. I think it was purposely done for both of them. The time gap from the beginning of the movie is something like 2 to 3 years, maybe. Okay, so basically, then this comes from Oberisk on Twitter. Basically, he's talking about the time gap in the movie and how it could be longer than a year. I've heard this before as well. People said it could be 2-3 years. If you look at the length of Natasha's hair, how much time has passed, and you know, Oberisk makes the argument here that he thinks that Captain America is much thinner in some of the shots, and he does look a little less muscular, more thinner in some of the shots. Tony looks much older in some of the shots. So could this be several years have passed? I think that's possible, and I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate some kind of a, like, let's just say they go to fight Thanos in the first act of the film, right? They fight him. It's whatever. You know, they lose or they win, but they still don't get the stones back. They come back to Earth, and then 3 years pass before Ant-Man pops out of the quantum realm, and then they figure out a plan. I'm totally okay with that. And I'm fine with them even vignetting that, skipping a bunch of time, like, boom, 3 years later. And then it just shows us what Earth is like and things like that. I think that would be kind of cool. So, again, thank you for the question. I really do appreciate it. Going to accept that here from Oberisk. Let's do one more here. Okay, this one's from Reed Hollis. Question of the MCU with the Avengers back in time. Does that change everything already? I'm very curious to see if they make it back and don't go to change current timeline. First three infinities in the air. Yes. So Reed Hollis is talking about the Avengers and time travel, how that's all going to work, and the idea that there were 3 Infinity Stones in New York during the first Avengers as well, and he never thought about that before. Yeah, that's totally true. It's pretty wild to think of. There were 3? I thought there were only 2. What are the third one? The Mind Stone, the Tesseract. Was there a third? Am I blanking? Maybe there was. I'm blanking. Someone hit me up on Twitter about that. Okay, so the way I've always said the time travel is going to go, and this has to do a lot with the OG plot leak and a lot of the stuff we've speculated about, is that there will be initial time travel that breaks a lot of things. And so once they start this, it's going to really mess stuff up. Crazy stuff's going to be happening. And this is where in the plot leak it said that, you know, from way back in the day, which we don't know if it's real or not, but one of the things it said in that was that we would be seeing other or moments from the MCU, from the Infinity Saga that we're familiar with, but played out in a different way. That the butterfly effect was happening, and it's going to screw things up, right? So that could very well be what's happening, but I think there will eventually be a reset to that as well. Once they get the stones, if they do get the stones from Thanos, or their own stones, and they beat him, they will be able to undo everything and set things back in some way, shape, or form. And so I think there's 2 time travels. There's one just to prevent him from getting the stones and fight, which is going to be really weird and break a bunch of stuff. And then they'll reset, and I think they got to fight Thanos again. And the reset will fix things. But again, that's just my speculation. We really don't know for sure, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I do appreciate you, Reed Hollis. All right, let's jump over to Instagram, then we'll go back to Twitter. I know there's a lot of questions on Twitter still, so let's see here. Let us see here. Oh, boy. Got a couple questions here. Okay. All right, let's start with Marky Mark 96. Thank you so much for this question. Thoughts that multiple people die when they are messing with time in the quantum realm, but in the end, no one really dies. Maybe. I mean, that'd be really cool. So that's something that really wacky that could happen. Also, it'd be even weirder is if people are like dying in the because what if they get into the quantum realm and they open up the soul world, okay, and they're like fighting and they're literally like dying and then sort of respawning, just popping right back out of the soul world. Wouldn't that be nuts? That'd be crazy, dude. Very similar to how Doctor Strange kept dying over and over again at the end of his own movie with the time loop. Wouldn't it be nuts if like they're in the quantum realm fighting and they're dying, but then they're just popping back out again like daisies? You know what I mean? I think that would be really, really interesting. But there's definitely some weird stuff that could be happening when it comes to the quantum realm. And again, I think the second time travel is going to sort of set things right. Okay, this one's coming in from Rima. Rima, always very active on the channel. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it, Rima. Hey, guys, I have a question for today's chat. Where do you think Okoye has been, and what role do you think she will play in Endgame? Okay, so this is a good question. So basically, because now they are saying that Shuri has been snapped, which we didn't see in the film, but that's what they're saying, that Shuri has been snapped. Whoever is the new Black Panther, which a lot of people are saying it's M'Baku, and I love Winston, and I think that he would be great he's just great. So make him the new Black Panther. I think that would be awesome. But in that case, she's still the head of the Dora Milaje. She still has to protect the king. And what could be even more interesting is M'Baku might blame might blame the decisions of T'Challa and how they came into the world for one of the reasons that they ended up being destroyed. The reason that the snap happened, the reason that all this bad stuff happened is because of T'Challa. And so it could be really dark times in Wakanda. As the new Black Panther, M'Baku could literally kick everybody out. And so maybe some of those scenes we've seen of like Rocket coming into the door, Thor there in what seems like Wakanda, maybe those scenes all of a sudden, M'Baku, the new Black Panther, is like, you guys get out of here and you're never welcome back. So that's kind of where I think Okoye is going to be and what kind of a role she'll have. But it's also possible that they're all cooperating and that she will be an important factor in some kind of a final battle. So that would be very cool. But thank you, Rima. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see here. We got one coming in from Al Chambers 42 on Instagram. Fan chat live question. Do you think Captain Marvel and Thanos have encountered each other since Captain Marvel? That would be interesting. I would actually like that a lot. I would really like that a lot. It just kind of depends. Obviously, Ronan the Accuser knew who she was. Ronan had ties to Thanos, so it is possible that through the grapevine they have heard of this. Thanos seems pretty knowledgeable, knows a lot of things, so maybe he does know about Carol and what she's capable of and all of these different things. So you never really know, but I would say, yeah, I would like that. I would like for them to have history and have met before, and I would like that to play out in the film. You know what I mean? For Thanos to have some kind of snide remark about something she's done or where she's been or blah, blah, blah. So let's see here. Let's find a couple more here. Do you like dogs? Can you show me out? I'm watching you. Shout me out. Okay, this is from the account Wish Chris Evans Was Here. Very, very hilarious Instagram account. Can you shout me out? Because I'm watching you. Yeah, I'm shouting you out right now, bro. Do I like dogs? Yes, I like dogs. More of a dog person than a cat person. So that's super, super important, I guess. Yo, Josh, in the super chat that is not a super chat. Rich Cardon. Yeah, what's up, Rich? Thanks for watching, man. Let's see here. Question for Josh. Do you think Hulk is immortal? I think so. Bruce Banner has died twice in the MCU. Gunshot to the head, falling onto the Bifrost Bridge, and Hulk brought him back. Can Hulk not die? This is coming from Nutrition Nathan on Instagram. Do I think Hulk is immortal? I think so. And I think that is a really cool place to take that character eventually down the line. if they do some weird stories, some Elseworld stories, maybe even something on Disney Plus, Hulk having to deal with the fact that he's immortal would be really cool. And what if Hulk outlives Banner, or Banner's like just this decrepit thing that can barely move, and he's like a sort of like a vegetable, and then like people come over and like steal some of his food, and he freaks out and becomes the Hulk again. That would be really cool. I'm picturing a old man Banner in like a nursing home at the end of his life. That would be really interesting. But yeah, I do think Hulk is immortal, although I don't know in the MCU. They tend to power people down in the MCU, other than Captain Marvel, who they powered up. But they tend to power characters down. Like Thor in the comics is way stronger than he is in the MCU. Doctor Strange in the comics, way stronger than he is in the MCU. So they tend to power people down. So maybe they did that with Hulk. Maybe Hulk's not immortal. One of the things I've been upset with in the MCU version of the Hulk is like, why hasn't Hulk gotten more powerful when he gets more angry? Like, we never really see that happen. And that's such a comic book thing. Like, one of the reason it's tough to beat Hulk is because even if you do get the upper hand, you're just going to piss him off, make him stronger, like literally make him stronger, not as a metaphor. Like, no, you literally made him stronger. So that would be something I'd like to see in there. But yeah, I do think Hulk is immortal. Thank you, Nutrition Nathan, for the question. Let's see here. Brent Maxey says, watching the live stream now, question, have you decided on what you're going to do about the Endgame videos after the movie is released next week? Will we get a Fan Chats Live that Friday night or Saturday to discuss? I'm seeing the movie Thursday, and I'm sure you are as well, along with most MCU fans. So Friday would be amazing, since we will all be wanting to geek out. Love the channel. So yeah, we talked about this when we were in Chicago. Thanks, Brent, for the question. Al Schuler and myself talked a lot about this, and so what we might end up doing is like a Friday night fan chat, or like a Friday afternoon fan chat, and then again on Saturday maybe. So we might do two, basically. And then that following week, we'll do, I'm sure, more spoiler conversations about it as well. So that's sort of what we're thinking as far as a fan chat live. Now, also, I've been thinking about doing some fan chat lives after Game of Thrones episodes. Now, we did some Instagram live. I know Ken went live on Insta last week right afterwards, which a lot of people liked. So maybe we'll do something like that as well. But I've been thinking maybe we should do a fan chat live after Game of Thrones. And if you're watching this right now and you think that's a good idea, hit us up on social media, just so we can know if people want to do that or not. But right now, that is kind of what we're thinking. We're thinking, let's do the fan chat live the following morning, and then let's do another fan chat live on Saturday morning for all the people that go see it Saturday night. And then let's do another one the following week, like, Monday or Tuesday. So that's kind of what we think's going on with that. And I see you typing, Brent Maxley, so thank you so much for hanging out, man. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Let's get into a few more here. Real Man London here. Apparently, I don't have to call it London anymore, but I just love pronouncing it that way, man. I have avoided all spoilers, so I would know if the leak footage is fake or not because I haven't seen it. Any thumbnail that pops up on social media, I do not click it. It worked for me thus far. I've been canceled. That's not really a question, but I do appreciate Real Man London. He's a cool dude. Always hitting us up on that. Let's see here. The space, mind, and time stones are on Earth during the Battle of New York. Let's see here. The space, mind, and time stones. Oh, they are on Earth. Yeah, but the time stone's not in New York. But yeah. I think this is how the Ancient One is in the film. Wow, interesting idea. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Yeah, I kind of think that the Ancient One might be in via Soul World or via whatever the Quantum Realm stuff is going on. She'll have some kind of interactions with Strange again. Also, wouldn't it be very interesting if the reason she couldn't see anything past her own death was somehow time manipulation or something going on with Thanos or the Infinity Stones? That would be pretty cool as well. But yeah, there are 3 stones on Earth at that time, I guess. So yeah, getting half of the stones in one swoop would be really great, and perhaps why the Ancient One is in. So I do think you're onto something there. So thank you very much, Dustin. Appreciate the question. All right, we'll do a couple more on Instagram, then we'll head back over to Twitter. Then we're gonna come back over to Instagram and hit a few more. Probably gonna go for like 20 more minutes, guys. So try to get to as many questions as I can. Okay, let's see here. Do you think Avengers Endgame will introduce a new character, like how Age of Ultron introduced Vision, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, or how Infinity War introduced the Black Order? So it's possible. I would say not as likely in this film, but as a caveat to that, I have often said it would be very cool is if they're going through time travel or they're going to different dimensions, which, like, for me, I'm like, come on, give me different dimensions. I want to see Elseworlds. I want to see a dimension where Pepper Potts is Iron Man and Tony Stark died a long time ago, and it's this grizzled, brutal version of Pepper, and she sees our Tony Stark, and she's like, she knows it's not her Tony Stark, but she's like, no, you know what I mean, like, get over here, you know what I mean, and he's like, he knows it's not his Pepper, but he also sees the longing in her eyes. Stuff like that would be really, really cool for me. And if we did get alternate dimension stuff, I would love to see other villains. I would love to see different versions of villains. You know what I mean? I think that would be very cool. But the thing about that is, and I do appreciate it, this is coming from Cosmic Dragon Gaming on Instagram. I do want all that stuff, but at the same time, I believe they've moved a lot of pieces off of the board, so to speak, in order to give a lot of focus to the original 6 Avengers and, Rocket and Nebula and all these other characters. So I think the focus is going to stay there. Therefore, it is unlikely that we're going to see new characters like we have in past MCU movies, but I do appreciate the question. Uh, Dogs only, says Captain Tolis. Yeah, I appreciate that. That was because of his question about if I'm a dog person or not. Let's see here. So I want to point out what you said for the Russos. They take the phones of the viewers before they sit down. Therefore, they are protective. Leaks and stuff. Couldn't get this huge leak away like that. I mean, someone could have had 2 phones. I have 2 phones. Could have brought in 2 phones, given one, and then done it. Oh, yeah, like the stream. Marky Mark, 96. Thanks for reminding me, man. Should tell everybody to like the stream. If you guys could drop a like on the stream, that would really help me out. Let's see here. It says, let's see where this one's coming in here. This is from, Quite the Den again. Says 100% do Game of Thrones fan chats after the show. Yeah, I do think that would be really cool. Usually we have viewing parties, though, so it'd be kind of weird for me to sneak away and do a video during a viewing party. However, I might. Let's just see here. Okay, I'm going to do just a couple more on Instagram here, and then we'll jump to Twitter, and then we'll come back, okay? Okay, this one, let's see here. It says no spoilers, but I don't really want to click that stuff. It means probably more third. Okay, so I'll give a shout-out here to Jensen. Just talking about Thor and how it's likely that Thor will continue to be in these movies. He really wants to be in the movies. Some people are saying that that's going to happen. Got a message in from Tight Talk. I just messaged you back. Yes, you can ask Star Wars questions, but we're going to have a lot of Star Wars videos and Star Wars chats coming out soon as well, because there's a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff coming to Star. I think Star Wars is back, baby. That's me. But then again, it never left for me. I'm a huge fan. Josh, do you think that Doctor Strange actually saw a literally plan where Tony is necessary, or do you think that he just knows that there's no chance of winning without Tony Stark? This is coming from Patrick Medvin. No, I think he specifically saw that they could not win without Tony Stark. Like, he knew. Because I don't think he likes Tony Stark. I think if any of those other 14,605,000 different outcomes could happen without Tony Stark, Doctor Strange would have been like, yeah, no, we don't need him. And also, what's interesting about that is, he literally watched 14 million different outcomes and saw all the different ways that Tony was, probably being very heroic and attempting this, that, and the other. It's not all Tony, but Tony was necessary, right? So a lot of things had to fall into place. But yeah, I think what happened is he saw specifically that Tony Stark that they could not win without him. So thank you, Patrick, for the question. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Do you think that Clint TV show concerns that Kate Bishop is going to be involved somehow? Show confirms, probably. This is by Abby Offers. Abby, no, I don't think it necessarily confirms that. I haven't looked at too much of what the actual details of the Hawkeye show were, but we kind of had speculated that, this was going to be Kate Bishop beforehand and replacing Hawkeye, right? Because we do think Young Avengers is something they're going to do. I mean, they've set up Cassie Lang. Spider-Man's relatively young. They've got ways to set up young Avengers, which I think could be really cool. So I say, why not? And I don't think that that is Kate Bishop in the trailers, though. I think that's Hawkeye's daughter. Kate Bishop is a different character, although they could do a version of it where it is the daughter. I'm fine with that. The daughter taking over the mantle would be pretty cool. Not sure how mom would feel about that. Mom doesn't seem to even like the fact that Clint does it, so I don't know. But thank you, Abby Offers, for the question. Appreciate that. Okay, here we go. Brian Breeze 26. How best should we avoid spoilers in the leading up to Endgame? What do you think about the test screening audience leaks? Okay, so test screening audience leaks. I hate that it happened. It's made things very difficult for us here at the channel. We've literally lost money and lost, reach and stuff because we had to take special precautions to keep, spoiler free. Now, a lot of that's been deleted, tracked down, and deleted, and a lot of people are being reported and all these different things. So it should be a little bit better now than it was a couple of days ago. We enabled comments again, but what I'm telling people is do not go into the comment section of videos and look around. Just go there, make your comment, and then get out is what I would say. And maybe don't even check out comments at all. Be very careful on social media. You can block certain words. I know there's people that reached out to us that blocked Endgame, Avengers Endgame, all sorts of stuff on their Twitter so that none of that stuff pops up. So, desperate times call for desperate measures. But yeah, just you do what you can, man. You know what I mean? Like you do what you can. Avoid clicking things. And yeah, I guess just do the best that you can. But I appreciate the question, Brian Breeze, and we're trying our best over here to make it better for everybody. This one's coming in from Trent3322. Do you think Doctor Strange faked his dusting? He saw some of the Guardians get dusted and would know what it looked like as a way to go do what needs to be done under the radar. So, no, I don't think he faked the dusting. However, he could have known that the dusting would not affect him because he's, able to walk and talk as his astral form. And he could also know that even maybe going to the soul world with everybody else would actually benefit him. For what I mean is, he might know that him being dusted is an important part of the formula for them to eventually come back and win. And so it's possible that you're sort of right and wrong, right? So no, I don't think he faked the dusting, but he could have allowed it and not prevented it because he knew it would actually be a part of the plan. So thank you, Trent, for that question. Let's see here. Aljo05 on Instagram. Do you think not going for the head will mentally affect Thor in any way? Yes, 100%. We've actually heard this from not only Chris Hemsworth, but other people in the production. They said that Thor is really regretting not going for the head, and it's going to weigh on him heavily. His cockiness, this attitude, he wanted to let Thanos know. He's like, I told you you'd die for this. He really wants to be that guy, and that personality flaw is a big part of the reason why the snap ended up happening, But that's good character design, right? Their flaws manifest in a way that, hurts them and the people around them. And ultimately, the progress of the character is to curb those kind of mistakes, to try to fight against their worst nature with their better nature. And so, yeah, to answer your question, yes, definitely believe it's going to weigh heavily on Thor. And I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. I'm pretty sure people have talked about that. All right. Do a couple more here on Insta, and then we'll go over to the Twitter. And if I don't get your question today, we'll do another fan chat very soon, and I'll hit as many questions as I can then as well, okay? Let's see here. Chris Fagundes. How much do you think they are alternating suits in the trailers with special effects? Also, do you think all of the fallen superheroes will come back in the middle of the movie or in the final act? Good question. I tend to believe it'll be the final act because, again, they want to have as much time as possible with the original Avengers and the characters that are still alive after the snap. So for that simple reason, I think that it will be a long time before we see these characters come back. However, there's some weird stuff if you look behind the scenes. There's shots of actors in scenes that don't necessarily make sense. A lot of confusing stuff. So it's possible that it happens earlier than a lot of people are thinking. But my guess, it's later in the film, right? How much are they alternating suits? It's hard to say, but I would love it if they were alternating the bejesus out of it. I would, as I said before in this chat, I would really like it if we go into this movie and everything we thought we knew was wrong and everything that they showed us was fake. I would really like that. Highly doubt that's what's going to happen, but that's what I would like. And thank you, Chris. I appreciate the question. Let's see here. Let's accept this. Uh, could what they're standing on in something hiding in plain sight that's central to the plot? What are your thoughts? So, okay, so Captain Shadow Band sends this question in. He's referring to the image of all of the fists coming into the middle in the white quantum suits and that thing on the floor. Could what they're standing on be something hidden in plain sight that is central to the plot? What are my thoughts? I don't really know. The only thing that I could think of is it kind of looks like Nev some of the architecture there, but I don't really know. I mean, it could be something that Tony builds to help get them ready for quantum travel. I really have no idea. Is it a spoiler in plain sight? No. Doesn't mean it's not significant, but as I sort of just stated, we really have no idea. You can't really compare it to much. You can't really draw many conclusions from it. So could it be a spoiler in plain sight? Yeah, but they're pretty smart about that. You know what I mean? They're pretty careful. Okay. Let's see here. This one comes in from Emilio. Hi there, and thank you for all the amazing content. Have you wondered why Okoye almost doesn't appear in any of the spots, TV spots, or trailers? She was hesitant to share Wakanda to the rest of the world. She might be the key for Tony to mix his technology with the Wakandan. Yeah, maybe. You know what I mean? I honestly think that's probably why they took Shuri off the table, to be honest with you. They didn't really want to give the OG Avengers an out. They have to work on their own ingenuity. I just think Okoye is not in many of the trailers and stuff because, well, they really aren't showing much. They need to focus on it. It's possible that whatever they show with her could spoil stuff. Maybe it's really hard to sort of change that stuff up and make it not look like a spoiler. Or maybe she's not really in the film much at all. You know? Oh, pardon me. It could be working on... She could not really be in the film much at all. And maybe the only time she is in Battle of Wakanda Part 2. And again, that would spoil stuff. So thank you, Emilio. Appreciate the question. Let's see here. This comes from Nikolai. This is Maverick Pilgrim, if you see him on the channel. How much flipping spam you got flying at you? A lot. I am thinking Doctor Strange will play a big part in this film, partially based on Tom Holland's leak about the quantum realm dialogue. Yeah, totally. For instance, visitors want to put you... Huh. Okay, interesting. I'm just going to go with the first question you had there, Maverick. Think Doctor Strange is going to play a big, important role because of what Tom Holland said. So if you don't know what he's referring to, there was an interview with Tom Holland where he had said that his job was really easy and that Benedict Cumberbatch's job was really hard because he has to explain all this quantum realm stuff. Obviously, that didn't happen in Infinity War. So, yeah, Doctor Strange is probably going to play a huge role in explaining what the quantum realm is and helping out with the plan. At least we hope, right? And I really hope that that is indeed what's going on. But what he could be referring to there, and what's interesting is if this is a scene with Tony, or rather, if this is a scene with Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch, perhaps they are just in the soul world. Perhaps the scene is Strange explaining to the snapped characters what is going on and how it's going to be prevented via the quantum realm, not what's going to be going on with the actual Avengers. So Doctor Strange could be doing all of that exposition, but he could be doing it for the people that are in the soul world, the people that were snapped. So we really don't know, but yeah, I would love to see Doctor Strange play a big role, and I hope that he does. Thank you very much for the question, Maverick. Appreciate you. Let's see here. This is a hard name for me. Vayataya Tua? Do you think there is a correlation to certain characters getting super accurate comic-styled suits and their death? Meaning perhaps Feige and the Russo brothers potentially gave certain heroes uber-accurate comic book costumes to send them off with a neat bang, whether it be death or retirement. For example, Rocket, Thor, or Rocket, Iron Man, maybe even Ronin. This is an interesting question. I do not think there's a parallel there, but I do think that because this might be the last Avengers movie we get for a while, because this might be the last movie we see a lot of these characters in for a while, that yes, this was a very real thought that they had. Let's just get some more comic book nostalgia in there, get them all sweaty, get everybody happy, and then take a little hiatus. So yes, I do think that is something that was talked about and on purpose. But I don't think it necessarily means that they're going to die. But thank you very much for the question. All right, let's do one more on Instagram. Then I'll head over to Twitter for like 10 more minutes, and then we'll get out of here. All right. This one's coming from a Bloomfield12 on Instagram. Hey, Josh, any thoughts/feelings on a possible Thor Captain Marvel romance speculation? Thanks for being awesome, Amy. Amy, thank you for being awesome, and thank you for the question. Any thoughts, speculation on it? I mean, I've sort of talked about it before, but I'm a fan. I think it would be cool. Um, I think they would be very powerful together, obviously. I like when powerful characters get together. You know, I actually had this interesting thing. So I was talking to a lot of people at Celebration about Reylo, which was the shipping of Kylo Ren and Rey. By the way, you're not going to want to miss the Star Wars Sunday video that we have coming out this week. It's going to be very cool, and it's got a lot of interviews from people that I talked to at Celebration. But point being, somebody said something really interesting to me in one of the interviews. He said, you know, I think whenever there's two powerful characters in fiction that are male and female, and there's any semblance of an attraction there, people automatically put them together. And there's something that's connected to our hero worshiping side and the idea that we love these idolized, powerful versions of characters. And we want to see, because basically it's like the ideal version of us, right? And we want to see the ideal version of us ultimately be romantic, because that is something that a lot of people consider to be a big thing in their life, right? So that would be kind of cool if that's something that's happening here with Thor and Captain Marvel. I would be all for it if it made sense to the characters. You know, Thor's kind of a flirt, and he's sort of like all about all these sort of different female characters, and he's still got this thing for Jane, so that would be weird. But from Captain Marvel's perspective, I could almost see it making sense, because she really doesn't experience many males that are kind of on her power level that could challenge her, and perhaps that is something she would be interested in. I don't really know. So it's a cool question. I appreciate the question. So thank you so much. Now let's hop back over to Twitter for a minute. Do like 20 more minutes here, and then we're gonna get on out of here, everybody. Okay. Let's see here. Let's start with Brad Davis. What was your favorite thing you guys ate at the best city in the world, Chicago? Ooh, that's a really tough one, Brad. Okay, so Brad, this is interesting. So we had traditional deep dish pizza, which was amazing. I believe it's a place called Giovanni's or something like that. Very, very good. We had a lot of, and I mean a lot, like too many of the Chicago dogs. I had chili cheese dogs for days at Portillo's. And Portillo's is a great restaurant. If you're ever in Chicago, you should go hit up Portillo's. Then one night we had like a huge coursed meal at Maggiano's, and just had like a bunch of good wine and a bunch of great Italian food. That night was probably particularly my favorite night. So I would have to say probably that was my favorite food as well. But I'm a sucker for like kind of cheap, crappy food as well. So there was stuff at like the convention that I really liked. Different like burgers at different stands, or like pulled chicken or pulled barbecue pork and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's the one thing. My body is still recovering from just all the bad food I ate. It pretty much rocked me. But I appreciate the question, Brad Davis. And Chicago is a hell of a town. I did like it. I did like it a lot. Let's see here. Doug Smith, been following you for a few months now. Love your show. Thanks for banning spoilers. Going to see Endgame next Friday. Can't wait. Thanks for all that you do. Looking forward to your vids on episode 9. Thank you very much, Doug Smith. I appreciate that. I'm excited to talk some episode 9. I got so many thoughts. So many thoughts. Let's see here. Siddharth says, any return of old villains? So I think that's possible. But it would have to be in the context of whatever they're doing in the time travel quantum realmy stuff. If technically there's an old villain in Loki, which we'll see at the Battle of New York. Similar stuff to that. That's how I want to see these villains, is in these timeline, hopping things or whatever they're doing. That's where I want to see the villains. And if they do break stuff and change stuff, wouldn't mind seeing like a uber powerful version of Red Skull in one of these dimensions as well. That would be really cool. But thank you, Siddharth Panwar. Appreciate that. Do you like dogs watching you now? I think that was the same question I got on the gram. Let's see here. This one's coming in from Yo Lion. Is it just me, or does it look like Pepper was CGI'd into that outdoor scene to hide the actual hero in the void area in the initial trailer? It's possible, man. It's definitely possible, because I'll tell you this. That shot is very blurry and it looks really weird. So maybe. Let's see here. This is from Jacob. Can we just appreciate the amazing world where we have all of our childhood superheroes on live on the big screen? Absolutely super hyped for Ronan to be kicking ass in Japan with his recruiting scene. Me too. Very much looking forward to that. Do you think the separate teams or missions are? Cap gives out the plans in the trailer, but I'm curious to see who's going to be doing what with who. Yeah, me too. I hope that Tony and Cap are together. Whatever the team is, I hope they're together. I could see it, not going that way, but I hope they're together. I think, you have your big guns, maybe Hulk, Thor, and Captain Marvel together. That would be really cool. Maybe even some of your tech people together, your espionage type stuff, where you got Hawkeye and Black Widow. Yeah, I think that would be very cool to sort of team them up for different, parts of the mission. That would sort of be a cool way to do it, in my opinion. Thank you, Jacob, for that. Let's see here. This one's coming in from Chris. Okay. So we kind of got this question on Twitter, but this was the one about the middle of the thing or the end with the Avengers coming back. I said I think it's going to be the end. Pepper was in the scene in the trailer on Earth. Are we still going to see the rescue suit? This is from Dan the Man. Yeah, I think we will see the rescue suit. Maybe after that, Tony creates it for her, and during the time gap, that's when we get a little, Pepper rescue action. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we'll see it. Or it could be that alternate dimension thing. I'm still holding out hope for that. That's from Dan the Man on Twitter. Let's see here. Do you think there are corrections? Okay, so we got that on Insta. Qatar, or K-Star rather, sorry. I say Professor Hulk can't defeat Thanos. Thanos kills Natasha and Professor Hulk and turns into World Breaker Hulk. Oh, that would be sick if he just kills Natasha in front of Hulk and then Hulk goes nuts and becomes World Breaker Hulk. That would be pretty cool. That's coming from K-Star, and I'm a fan of that theory, gotta tell you. I'm a big old fan of that. Let's see here. Let's see. I missed the first half of the show. If you already covered my question, thank you. I'll watch the full show once it posted. Thanks for doing this. Enjoy your show. Let's see here. Do you remember? Yeah, so this Danny B, this is a question coming from Danny B. Basically talking about the heroes remembering. This is something we talked about. They do need to remember stuff. It just makes sense for their arcs. Another possible question: what is your top 3 predictions, key moments for Endgame? So one of them we actually talked about this morning on the show, and this is the whole "we found something" moment. So what it really looks like, if you believe the trailers, they will go to fight Thanos. They will either win or lose, but either way, they can't undo the snap. Then way later in the film, maybe even 2 to 3 years later, which will hopefully not take 2 to 3 years in the movie, right? But way later in the timeline, I should say, something happens that gives them hope. This thing that Natasha says, we found something when she's recruiting Ronan. She found something. She found maybe Ant-Man. Maybe Ant-Man out of the quantum realm. You know what I mean? So that, I think, is going to be one of the big top moments, is when they sort of re-spark the hope, right? Another one would be obviously the rematch between Hulk and Thanos. Really looking forward to that. And then the reuniting of the snapped heroes with the unsnapped, whatever that happens. If that's in the Soul World, if it's Doctor Strange, if it's something they do with the Gauntlet, whatever it is. I think those are the 3 big moments for me. And I do appreciate the question. Let's see here. Let's see here. This is from Yo D. Hey, big fan. I was wondering who you'd like to see wield the gauntlet. Personally, I'd like to see Nebula use it and try to control herself and force Thanos into cybernetic enhancement. Oh, that would be sick. My biggest hope is that it's Cap. And I would love it for it to be Cap, because there was that Build-A-Bear spoiler that we talked about several weeks ago. And wouldn't that be really cool, man, if Cap wields the gauntlet and Thanos is just like, look, what? How's this possible? You don't have the power to wield Infinity Stones? That's crazy. And as a big Cap fan, I think that would be amazing. And if he sort of died to use it, I'm okay with that. That's a hell of a send-off. So that would be my top wish. Other than that, yeah, probably... I mean, Nebula would be a great one. Tony Stark, if he puts it into his armor, very similar to the way I feel about Cap. So those are pretty much my choices there. Okay, guys, so that's going to do it for Q&A. Pretty much going to do it for this stream. I want to say to everybody, thank you for understanding. I know it's been a little bit weird the past couple of days because of the leaks and the spoilers. We've had to approach things differently. Um, Actually gonna work on a ton of Star Wars videos and stuff now too, because I'm thinking maybe I just focus on that until we get to Endgame, so that we don't have to get too crazy with the spoilers. I'll still be breaking down a lot of cool stuff for Endgame. I've got some videos planned. It's just the leaks have sort of put me in a weird spot where I have to be careful about what I'm doing and not spoil stuff for anybody. And I mean, we're so close at this point. We're going to be talking a lot about it. So, guys, make sure you're hitting us up on social media. The Den of Nerds on Instagram, the Den of Nerds on Twitter. Ken does a great job of handling our social media, posting great content, communicating with you guys. I try to communicate with you guys as much as I can. And so thank you guys so much. And yeah, I'll just see you guys in the next one, man. We're going to figure this out. We'll be doing some more fan chat lives very soon, and all that and more on the way. Okay. So, as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.